Hello everyone, this is Chelsea from Those With Words. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm here to show you my simple wallet setup in this Plotter Mini. So if you're not familiar with Plotter, they make these beautiful ring binders. And the one I'm using for my wallet is a mini size, which means it's got 6 rings. They make a variety of other sizes as well. So there's a smaller one than this one called the Mini 5 with just the 5 rings. And I believe for those, if you get like a little card holder insert like this, it fits a business card, and all the refills for the Mini 5 are in the business card size. But I have the 6 ring here. For me, it's a little bit more practical to use, especially because I've got some blank paper, as you'll see later in my explanation, and I really like taking notes on this size in particular. I also have other plotters that I have in my collection. So this is the Bible size, which I'm using as a personal planner at the moment. And then this here is the much bigger A5 size. So hopefully you can see a little bit of a size comparison here. But I am using the mini, like I said, with the 6 rings for my wallet. And it's not because I absolutely need a plotter as a wallet. I just want to be honest. There are, lots of other way simpler options like a card holder or an actual wallet. But I had actually been using my passport size traveler's notebook as a wallet. And I wanted to switch things up a little bit because right now in my passport traveler's notebook, I am working on a separate project. This is my video game journal, which I shared in my channel previously, and this sits in the passport cover at the moment, and so I had to change things out, and so I chose this Plotter Mini to set up as my wallet. So just as a really simple overview, I have the ring protector from Plotter here, which helps with the indentation of the rings against the leather. And before I forget, this is the Pueblo leather in the navy. And I have this card holder insert that I bought, and it says it's from Ashford. I purchased this from Itoya when I went to Japan, and I just use this as my card holder. So I just have some, placeholder cards here at the moment, but this is where I keep my license, my credit cards, public transportation cards, all of those important things. It's got 3 slots in the front and 3 slots in the back, so plenty of room for me in terms of everyday carry. And then this Knox plastic folder is just like a simple holder right here, and I just have a placeholder. This is a Hobonichi stencil, which actually I put this in as a placeholder, but I feel like it's quite handy with all the bullet points. You can tell I use this quite a lot beforehand, and maybe I can still make use of it. So I might actually keep it in here, but this is where my debit cards, library cards, and other sort of rewards cards go. They go in here just because I don't need access to those as consistently as I do with my credit cards and my ID and things like that. But obviously, other useful cards that I like to have in here, I do keep in here. And then this is where things get a little bit more silly, and you may laugh at this. Please feel free to laugh at it. I'm laughing at it right now. I could have totally kept this cash in here, and that would have probably made more sense. But what I personally don't really enjoy is these types of folders just getting really dirty on the inside eventually because of cash. Cash by nature is not very clean, and so I have tried this type of folder before to carry cash, and it's just got dirt and grime and all these other things on the inside, and eventually just got way too dirty for me to use regularly, so I had to replace it. So instead of that, I hole punched this little Sanrio plastic folder. I got this in Happy Mail, and I have a tendency to save envelopes like this from Happy Mail just so I can pass it on in another Happy Mail, or I can use it for apparently little projects like this. And I have a hole puncher, so I just punched holes in this particular size, and it's a little bit large, and it's got a little opening right here. And so it's a little bit big for this size. And so I thought, you know, when you close it up, you can kind of see right here, there's a little, it's peeking out a little bit. And, you know, it looks quite silly, but I, again, didn't want to make this folder too dirty in the long run. So I decided to just use this because this is, I don't know, just much easier to replace. I can always find another one of these from my Happy Mail envelope folder, or I'll figure something else out later maybe that perhaps looks a little bit more sophisticated, but at the moment, because I rarely use cash anyway, I just kind of have it in here as like a backup just in case. So I don't use this often anyway, so I just ended up putting it in this folder and reusing it as a small cash envelope within this Plotter Mini. And then from here, I just have some empty papers. And so this is just the plotter dot grid, and I just have a few pages here and there. And this section is more or less for on-the-go notes. If I think of anything or if I need to jot something down really quickly, then I do have some spare pages here. There are occasions when I actually take notes for YouTube videos in here, and then because this is a really small compact size, I'll set this aside in the corner, just off screen while I record my video, and then I'll refer to the notes in here. That has happened before and it was really helpful. So sometimes I use it for that at home, but they are more for on-the-go note-taking. And then here is another section where I keep some Tomoe River paper. I cut this myself and hole punched it. I have an A5 Tomoe River paper pad. Let me actually show you really quickly. So this is the Tomoe River paper pad that I use. It's just the A5 size, 100 sheets in the white color. And I basically just ripped this out and I cut it according to size, and I hole punched it using the same, you know, hole punch that I use for this. Just a generic one will do fine. So I have a few of those. These are left over from when I actually used to use this journal for like a media journal, and I used to use TRP for that, just so I could write on it with fountain pen and it would just look very satisfying. So I have some leftover. I might as well keep it in here for, I don't know, maybe I'll bring this to the San Francisco Pen Show and do some ink testing on here. Who knows? But I just keep it in here as a separate section away from the other dot grid pages. The plotter paper also takes fountain pen ink really beautifully. I just have these as spares just because I'm not really sure where else to put them. They have already been hole punched, and so they're just sitting here as like a little backup section. And then last but not least, this is an interesting section that I haven't really found a use for day to day, but I do like to keep it here for reference, is my watercolor palette swatches. So I have two palettes. They are both from Art Toolkit. So the first one that I have is called the Ultimate Mixing Palette, and this was my very first Art Toolkit palette. And I decorated it with some stickers since I got it, and it's very well used. And I have all of these. These were pre-filled Daniel Smith watercolors, and so I swatched them and I just wrote down the color names. And on the second page right here, I have the colors that I like to mix together and the results of them and what they look like, because I used to keep forgetting, you know, oh, if I want this very particular purple, like where do I go? Did I use this red or this red? I'm not really sure. And so I decided to just make a little reference for myself, so it's a little bit easier for me to find that information when I need it. And then this is a second swatch of this palette, which is the swatch of the second palette, this Art Toolkit and Traveler's Company pocket palette in the green. It says, have a good day, good music, good coffee, and a good notebook. I really, really love this palette. This came empty and I filled it with kind friends watercolors. They let me, fill these with their watercolors. So I have some Holbein, Da Vinci, and Daniel Smith, it looks like. Yeah, I think those are the three brands that I have in here. For these colors, I just picked the ones that I liked or I felt were a little bit difficult to make on my own. So like this pink right here and this lavender, I just felt like some of these pastel colors were really hard to make by myself using the other palette, so I put those in. I have 2 olive greens because I love that color, and some of these other colors as well, like this moon glow in particular, I really like. And I feel like this one is really hard to recreate just because of the materials and the effect it really gives out. So I have those in here, and this one is not as used as often as the other one, but I am, just making progress using it when I can for illustrations. So the watercolor swatches, they don't particularly belong in a wallet setup, but I just have it back here because I used like a multimedia paper and I hole punched it again and I cut it to size and everything, and I decided to just have these in here for reference. I haven't really particularly found another place for them to go, and so I just kept them in here. And before I forget, these separators are just memo pads. They are just random memo pads that I cut to size, and again, I punched holes in. And so they serve as these really cute separators between the different types of pages that I have in here. So that's the second one, and this is the third one with the little bird. It's really cute, I like it. And then at the very end, I keep the pen holder. This is from Plotter, and I have a Traveler's Company brass pen in here, and this is the Korea edition, which I bought a long time ago. And it's just a brass pen, so nothing too wild here, except for the fact that I did replace this refill with a Uniball Jetstream, and this is in the 0.38, I believe. And so I replaced that just to make it easier for me to write with, because I really enjoy the writing experience with the Jetstream. So I just changed out the refill in there, and I just keep this in here because it's kind of like the perfect size for the mini. If you can see, it's just nice and it fits right in there in the pen holder. So I decided to keep that with me. And then last but not least is this band, which is also from Plotter. You don't have to use the Plotter band, but I do like that it is sturdy because it's kind of attached to this other map plastic type of material. And then that is the end of it. And I keep this at the very end so that I can easily secure it. So none of the contents are going to, get folded or, get messed up too much when I throw this into my bag and go, because I truly just toss this into my tote or my small bag and I just get going. So that's it for this video. It's a short and sweet one, but I still hope you enjoyed it. I will be back soon with another video, and so that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and take care. Bye.